I'll give you a crazy scenario, and you tell me what you think about this. What if Toronto FC and their new guy coming in there, Tim Lewicki, who was basically part of the LA Galaxy that brought in David Beckham, what if he pulled a rabbit out of the hat? He's just come in there, they make a pitch for Wayne Rooney.
You know, usually I would call you a moron or a baccalà, as they say in Italian, a salted fish with no eyes. But I'm going to tell you something, Perry Lefko. That's not entirely out of the possibility in the realm for Tim Lewicki to do something like this. When Tim Lewicki went to L.A., when he was there in L.A., he brought in Beckham, Keane, Donovan, Bruce Arena, the who's who. And that's the type of guy he is. So, it doesn't sound so far-fetched, Perry, but I think Wayne Rooney still has his heart and his desires to be in Europe and in Germany, and I think that's what's going to end up happening in the long run.
I mean, obviously, if a guy like Wayne Rooney, if they were somehow able to bring him in here, this would be one of the biggest stories to happen in Toronto sports history. I'm not talking, this is an organization, Toronto FC, which has struggled. You've been very critical of them, and rightfully so. Right now, your favorite Toronto Maple Leaf team is one win away from pulling off a colossal upset, in my opinion. And we're also talking about the Toronto Raptors, what they're going to do with Brian Colangelo. If the Toronto Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment was able to make this type of move, it would automatically put Toronto FC on the front pages of the sports section. People would be talking about this move like they would never be talking Toronto FC. That's why, would you suggest or would you think that maybe they would even try and look into something like this, if only to say...
They will, Perry, and that's a great point you make. And they will, because a couple of years ago, I know on good authority that they tried to go after, I don't know if you know this player, but I know him and many of my soccer and footy friends know him, Alexandre Del Piero from Juventus. And now he's playing in Australia in the A-League. And that's a guy that they went after, and they went after hot and heavy. But he was late stages of his career, late 30s. Rooney's got a lot less more than Alexandre Del Piero. He doesn't have the class of Del Piero, but this would put TFC back on the map. And I'm going to tell you something else, Perry. They are losing hand over fist people that are not coming to the games anymore, people that don't want to buy a 4-pack to come in the summer with their son or daughter and come and watch the game. They are losing big time at the concession stand. So, they got to do something, and they got to do it soon, because look at Montreal Impact. Joey Saputo, an owner that puts his money where his mouth is. He's brought over some of the biggest and the best from Italy, and all he keeps doing is winning this year. And this is what you need, is either a one-owner team guy or a guy like Tim Lewicki, who I have a lot of time for, Perry, a lot of time.
Tim Lewicki is a visionary, and a lot of the things that he's done have been, to use that expression, so far out of the box, you'd have to go, get a search warrant to find him. This is the type of move, again, I'm talking to you just as a way out-of-the-box theory, because I don't think there's a chance in hell it's going to happen.
Well, no, don't say that, Perry, because you don't know that. Because when Tim Lewicki was in L.A., there's a huge South Korean population. After the World Cup, I think it was 2 World Cups before, he wanted to appease and get the attention of the South Korean fans in the L.A. area. He went to sign, I forget the fellow's name, but their top defender on the South Korean national team. Now, it didn't equate to a ton of season ticket sales and a ton more support, but it did energize, revive, and he got their attention, and they did start to come out in dribs and drabs. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Perry, and people might not like this, and I've been saying this for a long time. And not because I am Canadian-born, but of Italian heritage. But Montreal has done it with 3 Italian players. They have a ton of support there in that market. People are buying jerseys of Di Vaio, Nesta, and they've got a ton of support in Italy for that team in Montreal, because they have that. Now, I'm not saying go out and get an Italian player or two for TFC, but again, Toronto is the biggest population of Italians residing in Toronto, GTA, and Ontario outside of Italy. Go after an Italian player with a name. Go after a Portuguese player. With all due respect to all these English players that have come over to TFC, they've been a flop, they've been a disaster, and they've got no name. But Wayne Rooney has a name. And that's where I would say, yes, this will work.